So I took Bob down to Pet Pong, to just a beer bar on the street. So the music is playing really loud. A Kateli comes over, puts her arm around Bob's shoulders and says something. And the music's really loud. I can't hear her. And he goes, what? And the music stops. And she says, hi, what's your name?
Swaddy Cop, we're here today on the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast. I have our guests. I have Master Bob Karmel. I also have John Crane. We're going to learn a little bit more about his story, what his involvement is with Muay Thai, what he's doing, how these two know each other. John, welcome. Bob, welcome.
Thanks.
Hola.
Yeah, so we just got done. We were having some food over at Chompy's.
Yes.
Chompy's Bagels and stuff like that. You're, funny enough, you were just talking about Ellen DeGeneres.
Yes.
Yeah, so something about her mowing lawns or something like that. So, you know,
I stole that line from somebody else.
yeah, I know about this. Yeah, as she was saying, it's a different life over here.
No, because her lawnmower broke down, right? She's trying to mow her new estate. And so everybody's making jokes about it.
You know,
I thought that was a reference to oral sex.
you know,
I'm sorry, I'm old. I'm a little slow.
yeah, Ellen actually lives in Santa Barbara. So do you know Santa Barbara, California?
I know it.
So that's where I
can't say I know it well. But
yeah, that's where I was born. It became this big haven for like celebrities. And they really like ruined the town. It actually started from the guy from the Beanie Babies. You remember Beanie Babies? So he bought, I guess he bought an estate in Santa Barbara and realized if he threw money at the city council, he'd be able to like change the city for how he wanted it to be. And he started like at Oprah, Ellen DeGeneres, this Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, and a bunch of other big celebrities live there. And it turned into this big like celebrity jerk-off fest, which sucks. Just Santa Barbara's actually a really cool town. There's a lot of people there where it's really still pretty badass, but there's no middle class there, kind of where it came into that. If you couldn't already tell, by the way, this is getting a little bit more like a adult rated version of the show. So John, tell me a little bit. Now you're living in Bangkok, Thailand.
yes,
Right?
have been for a very long time.
So since the 90s, right?
Yeah. First went there in the 90s to open a rep office for JP Morgan.
Shit. So, and yeah, we were talking
Just before the Asian financial crisis.
Yeah, the Asian financial crisis. You also know in the Tom Yong-gun era, right? So it was like everything that happened, where it came into some people shorting the Thai baht, essentially, right?
Well, that was part of it. Yeah, a lot of big hedge funds trying to short the Thai baht.
Yeah, so we're kind of discussing a little bit Thai politics, talking about Elvis and things like that too. But to get straight to the point, tell me how you know this guy. How do you know Bob?
So in, let's see, 1988, I left. I'd been working in China and I applied to grad school in Philadelphia. Went back to Philly for grad school, and I went all over Philly trying to find a gym to train Muay Thai because I'd gotten into training Muay Thai while I'd been in China. I'd been traveling down to Thailand, training at Fairtex. So I went all over town trying to find a gym to train Muay Thai, and I got just turned away everywhere. Oh no, we only do Taekwondo. Oh no, we only do this. And then I walked into a gym in Center City where Bob was teaching Wing Chun, and said, hey, I'm really interested to find a place to train Muay Thai. And he's like, oh, yeah, we could do that. So, a friendship was born that has, been sustained through all these decades.
What year was that?
1988.
So that was the year I was born. I was born way last year. You guys have been doing this shit since...
We warned you, you got old guys on the
That's why I wanted you, though. That's why I wanted you on, because we were talking a bit, too, is like there's a generation gap of documenting, because there wasn't access to media equipment, all these cameras, podcast stuff. Like, unless you were a major talk show host on radio or had access to major media people, you weren't able to really document this stuff. Besides little writing, talking shit in Black Bolt magazine in the back, right? And even then, not everybody was doing that. And there's no real like archive of it. I was telling you that a gentleman who came in onto our live stream that we had, and he was talking about like, do you know who Ajahn Chai is? Like, yeah, of course. Right. But not everybody might not know who that is.
Yeah. Like Happy Day.
Yeah. Happy Day. Definitely.
In Thailand, he's everybody.
He was a shit. Yeah.
He was the Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. He was bringing, he retired because he had no more competition, right?
Well, I think, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think after his Muay Thai career, he actually boxed for
a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And won some Asian boxing titles as well. So
he took some punishment, though. I think it was time to take a rest.
From just like
getting hit in the head. But I think just as John came into the gym and asked me about Thai boxing, we had met, and I mentioned it in our earlier podcast, that we had met these two waiters in a Thai restaurant in Philadelphia that said they were Thai boxers. And they were they were better than we were. And they started coming up to my gym, and we were doing some pad work with these two guys. Of course, we didn't have the Thai pads. We had those Century Karate Shield things.
Mm-hmm.
And we were starting to do that. And when John came in and wanted to do some Wing Chun and mentioned he had done some Thai boxing, I go, well, we're starting to do some Thai boxing. And there was like 4 or 5 of us that would meet after classes were done and started doing it. And I think we have one video of a Chai seminar that we were stealing techniques off of for months. And then we finally made a trip to Pittsburgh and went to a Chai seminar.
Don Garin
In Pittsburgh.
Who is Don Garin?
Don Garin was a JKD student, student of Danny Santos and Chai and Mike and I and that Paul Vunak and all those guys back in those days. And he had a studio in Pittsburgh, and he would do seminars with these guys. And we would drive out there and go do these seminars with Chai, met Chai, and started, being one of Chai's guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it started off as just me and Bob training, usually on the weekend. And then a couple of his senior Wing Chun students joined, so there's like 4 or 5 of us. And then 2 years later, when I finished grad school, was leading, you probably had, 50 students?
A little army.
Army of people training Muay Thai. So around what year was that?
88 to 90.
89, still same time.
Yeah.
So,
and then the summer of 90, after I graduated, Bob dropped tons of weight. He went from about 235 or something down to 180. Came to Thailand to train.
Yeah.
Came off the plane. I almost didn't recognize him.
Shit. Well, I mean, he's lost a lot of weight too in the past couple of years. So it's a common theme.
Trying to stay there now, but no.
I don't know if we want to tell the story of your first evening in Bangkok.
No, we don't.
Oh, dude.
That goes to the dead pile.
So does it involve a night near Sukhumvit or Nana Plaza?
No, it involves a night in Patpong.
Oh,
so Bob came off the plane. I said, "Are you hungry? You want?" It's like at 10 o'clock at night. And Philip had sent us with one of his drivers in a big BMW.
Philip Wall, for those that don't know, Fairtex.
Yes,
right.
Guru of Fairtex. And so I took Bob down to Patpong, to just a beer bar on the street, because it's it's a lively night scene down there, right? So the music is playing really loud, and a Kateli comes over.
Katoi is a ladyboy for anybody that doesn't know.
Puts her arm around Bob's shoulders and says something, and the music's really loud. I can't hear her, right? And he goes, "What?" And the music stops, and she says, "Hi, what's your name?"
Welcome.
Bob,
amazing Thailand.
And his eyes were just this big, It's like, there's this buff, tough dude, and suddenly he's like terrified.
I think the scariest part was that I went to the bathroom to take a piss, and so did she. She was standing next to me.
The urinal.
You're a special girl, aren't you?
Yeah,
we're back to that adult version of the podcast.
But here's the thing. That's the reality. Like the first time I went to Thailand, 2008, like I knew that Ladyboys Katoi was like a thing,
right?
And I didn't realize how real of a thing it was until we were at I remember the first thing I didn't expect to see a KFC in a 7-Eleven. For those that know, now KFC, 7-Eleven, this shit's everywhere.
Absolutely.
And it was a Katoi that was, talking to me and at the cash register. And I remember just thinking oh, yeah, I guess it is that normal here.
Yeah.
So
nobody thinks anything of it.
No, it's third gender. It's as normal like you see in Thailand. Of course, there's probably barriers and shit like that go into it. And you were talking about, I think the knit for Nong Tum is use the term boom boom.
Boom boom tum.
Boom boom tum.
That was the nickname.
That was a nickname for Nong Tum back then. Okay. Yeah. So for those that don't know what Nong Tum is, there's a movie about it. It's a beautiful boxer. Yeah, actually a good movie.
I've not seen it.
I didn't know it was a real story. When I saw it, I didn't know it was actually based upon somebody till later on. But So you got Bob over there. He got spooked by a Katoi.
His first evening, yeah.
First evening there. So,
as I remember the first evening, I got off the plane and, it's like major flying. And John picks me up and we go to Chinatown, right? And I meet Philip Wong at his Chinese restaurant. And he's in a room upstairs playing cards with these guys. You remember that?
Yeah.
And
that wasn't the first night, though, but that was that first week, yeah. Absolutely.
And that's when I met Philip, and we ended up staying in that Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, he had a room upstairs for his chef that he had brought over.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And the chef didn't live there anymore. Bob and I it was smaller than this space when we
Yeah.
I actually have a picture of you on the mattress on the floor.
We had mattresses on the floor.
You still have it?
The picture.
Yeah.
So,
Bob was about 6 inches away from me. And just to, for the record, this guy snores.
Yeah.
So I
sleep apnea.
Not anymore. I got a sleep machine.
So I roll over and Teep.
Yeah.
He moves, stops snoring, I go back to sleep. Yeah. So we'd get up in the morning at like 5 and get in a tuk-tuk who would drive us out to Bang Kok to the camp.
Yeah. So it's Fairtex Bang Pli at the time, right?
Yeah.
So back then, like, who was in the camp when you guys were there back in the early 90s? Yeah.
So in terms of trainers, or
just fighters and trainers.
Well, fighters at that time, Lim Siam was a kid. We used to send him to buy ice for us.
But you say kid, like how tall?
He was like 12 years old. No, because the weight limits, you got to be 101 pounds to fight in the stadiums in Bangkok. So the kids don't come to Bangkok
unless they're
101.
Yeah.
So I think he was about 11 or 12 years old. Jung Sanan was still fighting at that time. Ganyeo was still a trainer in the camp where we were in those days. Ganyeo was still there. San was still there. So all the guys are in the States now. They were
Sakasen, right?
Sakasen.
So I didn't know Sakasen was actually a Fairtex fighter. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like totally went over my head.
And Mulet was there.
Monlet, yeah. So now he's at Sitsong Pidong.
Yeah.
He's like
Monlet was a good trainer.
Back then he's and think about that's a few more decades on top of it.
Yeah.
Right. So he's a guy we just did a little feature on. His name is Ian Greer. He's being trained by Monlet. Yeah. He's doing good. Yeah.
I bet.
So,
Monlet, it was very clever fighter.
When you guys were over there, like the training then, obviously, how much Thai did you speak back then?
Oh, 8 words.
What were they?
Yeah,
hello, goodbye, thank you, pain, food.
Hungry, it hurts. I want to take a shower.
Yeah.
Jin Kao, Abnam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the essentials.
The essentials.
The essentials, yeah. So
I knew nothing.
No.
I was like,
yes.
I have no idea.
Okay.
But he did have keen perception and insights into Thai culture.
Yeah.
Like, you can get almost anything in a plastic bag. Right? Coffee in a plastic bag, rice in a plastic bag.
Isn't it like, and what's crazy is still that way. Like, I know some of it's going away.
Yeah.
But it's still like, get the soda in the plastic bag. You still get,
we had this guy who would come with a bicycle and a thing in the morning and do coffee, right?
Yeah, right outside the gate of Fairtex. He'd make coffee. I'd go out there every morning, get a bag of coffee.
Get a bag of coffee. You can hang it up on the bolt on the side of the heavy bag rack.
You put your little finger in the bag and the straw stuck out. And you just sit
and you walk with it. Yeah.
The other guy who was at the camp, I sent you a picture of him on message.
The trainer, you said this guy used to beat my ass.
Tai Boom.
And
Tai Boom used to kick my ass every day. Meanest motherfucker on the planet. And now I guess he's living in Japan with another guy, and we talk on.
He was grumpy back in those days.
He was, but supposedly shortly before we got there, he broke his leg in a fight. Got his leg broken in a fight. Continued the fight, knocked the guy out with a broken leg, and then came back. But he was like scary.
Talking about that, like we've talked about before, it's almost like a different era and different mindset for the fighters. Because like he didn't fight with a broken leg because he wanted to. He fight because he fucking had to. There's one of those things like you need that for the money.
It's a payday.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, if I come back from this, probably got a cash injection because they knew what was going on. He probably won big on that. That's life-changing money.
But he used to. I had a knee spar with him every day. He just used to kill me. That's the guy. I let my beard grow out after.
Yeah, this is a guy. This is a guy.
He grinded into his face. Yeah.
I grinded into his face. He grinded his nubby head into my face.
Yeah, I've had that experience with the trainers. I got pink eye for one of the guys.
Oh, we got that. You remember the whole camp got it.
Got pink eye.
Yeah.
Who was farting on the pillows?
As soon as somebody no, because you're
clenching hands in the face. You know, the sanitary standards are different.
Train on a clock on the wall. All right. And Ganyao, he was the guy calling
the rounds.
Starting rounds. So sometimes he's watching, sometimes he forgets to watch, you know. So around might be 6, 7 minutes.
Would Mr. Wong ever yell at him for forgetting?
Well, the funny thing was the pace of the camp, right? If Philip, for whatever reason, was away on business or at a mission or whatever,
slow down.
Yeah, things are like, sabai, right? And then Philip shows up.
Yeah, we got to show the boss.
The noise gets bigger, the noise gets... But Ganyao will watch a clock, sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 4 minutes, sometimes 7 minutes. The guys would yell at him, you know, and he'd call around. But they had like one cooler with 1 cup of water, and everybody was getting 1 water out of a cup, the same cup. And, you know, now it's scary for everybody to do that. Back then,
we had another trip to the camp sometime later where Bob brought a friend over from the state. Or I think he was a chiropractor or something. And that's, I mean, we used to all sit around and eat, like Karmel eating, and usually in one of the Thai guys, you know, homes there, the wives were cooking, and there'd be a jug of water and 1 cup. So like everyone's drinking from that same cup, and this guy that had come with Bob, it just completely freaked him out. So he'd bring his own cup, and as soon as he put it down, somebody else would pick it up.
Yeah, it's not drinking from it. Yeah, because that's what he did. Yeah,
he just lose it.
But it's like when you eat the soup, people just stick the spoon in and like eat the soup, right?
Yeah. So you know, it's like the guys in my gym now. They go, "Oh, Master Bob, my feet hurt. Go rub some dirt on it.
Take a drink.
You know, just shut up. You know,
just that's how you wanted to fight.
You're here. Come be hard. You know, you gotta. Don't tell me your foot hurts. You know, you've been here for 4 days. Your foot hurts. So keep going.
But you know, going into that, you know, you live in Thailand. Have you noticed some of the Thai kids? I guess maybe are having some similar. Like they're getting softer, like this generation. But I kind of feel like we're not like the guys in the back. I'm like, oh, back in my day. Yeah. But no, it's true.
You had to walk 4 miles to school uphill both ways.
And then walked on my hands, right? So like, I wonder if it's just, is it more of a reliance on technology that's making people more aware of like, I guess.
I think some of that, right? I think societies are getting more affluent.
Oh, especially Thailand, though. They're getting more. There's technology
is evil.
Yeah, why are you holding that shit up, man? Why is that in you? I saw you looking on it.
Yeah, well, I was trying to find that picture of Thailand.
Oh, okay. Don't worry, I'll pull it up. I'll get it up on the screen earlier on this too.
But I think,
I spend so much time with it.
Everybody's become so soft. They play internet games. They don't go out and play. You know. They don't go out and run around. I mean, I got into fighting, you know, I started to like to fight at a young age. So I was in Queens, New York, living in Upper City. And I was like, I don't know, 10 years old, third grade, somewhere around there. And these guys were playing basketball and the ball went over the fence. And they go, hey, yo, go get the ball. And I go, fuck you, go get your own ball. And they all climbed over the fence and beat the shit out of me. Okay. And they would chase me down every day they saw me, that group of guys. And I started fighting them. I just turned around and grabbed one of them and started fighting hard. And if the rest of them beat me up, okay. But I
got one.
I got one, you know. And it was just different. I don't think kids now, they cried to go tell their mother. I never told my mom about any of that shit that went on.
She didn't care.
I'd come home.
She had her own heart shit.
I'd come home, my shirt all messed up, my face messed up. So what'd you do today? Nothing. You know. And, you know, today they go and they cry to their moms about stuff. And then they stay home, play video games, play the computer. You know, I don't know. It's just all different. Not saying it's bad. Just different.
Different. Like I said, it's like you're getting more reliant on this technology and different lifestyle. It's kind of more sedentary. It makes me happy when I see kids playing outside now.
Yeah. I didn't know you couldn't drink water out of the hose in your garden.
What do you mean you can't?
You're not supposed to drink water out of the hose. It's bad for you.
You have to drink it out.
Got to be out of plastic.
Plastic bottles, microplastics, right? So you pick your poison, man. I pick the hose every time. Just that's me personally.
Well, the old Canton Bang Play, there used to be a big lawn out in front of it, which is, I think there's, equipment manufacturing there now. But the young boxers, they get done with training, have some food, and then they all go play football, soccer on the lawn. And more often than not, you'd see one of these kids limping or they'd be injured somehow, and you'd be like, "Oh, did you have fun?" No, football. They get hurt playing football. They wouldn't get hurt boxing.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, you're in a padded room with wearing gloves and shit like that. And you expect to get hit. I've talked about this before. You expect to get hit. You play soccer. You don't expect to like get hit that hard, but I think it makes the injuries worse.
They also played soccer barefoot.
True.
So,
yes.
That's crazy. Crazy to begin with, right?
Yeah. But I mean, that
lawn later became
the Tigers.
For the tiger. Yeah. What was it? Tiger's thing? Mimi.
He had a cage.
So
whoa.
So back at this time, one of the fads among like ultra wealthy in Thailand was exotic animals.
Okay.
Right. So people would have like exotic birds. Philip had all kinds of different dogs, and somebody gave him a pair of tigers, baby tiger cubs, right? A male and a female. And someone had told him that if you feed them cooked food, they'll be more tame.
Mm-hmm.
What he discovered painfully was that tigers don't eat cooked food, or they eat it, but they don't thrive on it. So the male died before they figured out that tigers need raw food.
Mm.
The female tiger became a tiger. she was kind of a big cat on one trip that we went to visit. And then the next time we got back there, full on tiger.
So you just chained out? Oh, okay.
You had her in a cage. You had one guy who was tasked with feeding her, I've got a photo of him somewhere holding up.
I got the picture. My trainer got a picture of it off.
Picture of finger missing. No shit. And he bit his finger off.
He's like, me.
No, I was feeding the cat some chicken, and
they
took his finger too.
Got a little bit extra protein.
So then later they put up a wire between two trees out on that big lawn, and they used to hook her to that thing so she could run back and forth, and she clawed all the bark off the trees up to about, 15 feet or something. But just over the bridge was a kid's school. And Bob was warning Philip, you're going to come out and just find a little orange hat and some shoes.
Did that happen?
Yeah. Eventually it did. They got there in time. It was okay. But that's when they shipped her off to the Sriracha Tiger Zoo.
Oh, shit. I don't know if that's a good fate or not, though.
The tiger on the run that they created could reach onto the driveway a little bit. So in the afternoon, we used to jog up and down the driveway. And I think I have it on video somewhere. I can't find it. But I got Boom Kurt and Ganyao and me and everybody jogging up there. And when you got to where the tiger could reach, everybody used to crowd. Whoever was on the inside got pushed to where the tiger was. And a lot of times it was Boom Kurt because he was the smallest guy, So Boom Kurt would get pushed to the tiger, the tiger would be lunging at whoever
grab their ankles and
everybody go, it's a tiger. But yeah, the tiger was just loose and he didn't want to.
Back in my day, there's a fucking tiger in the driveway.
So that was the warm-up before, because you train twice a day. That was the warm-up for the afternoon session. The morning session, when we used to run, back in those days, Bang Play, there wasn't much out there.
No, it was,
So,
jungle.
Apida used to chase us in a pickup truck because, the tires would be easy and, and he'd get behind and
push
literally drive the pickup truck behind us. Yeah.
They threw me on that pickup truck once and left me there. And it looked to me like a Vietnam movie, because it was rice patties and it was all green. And I was always fat and slow. So everybody was gone. And I go, fuck, I'm getting lost out here, So I kept running and running and running. And I made it back, but it was nowhere. And there were giant lizards out there and cobras and snakes and shit. I thought I was going to get lost.
Yeah, we get monitor lizards in town.
Oh, yeah. Those things. They're
pretty scary.
They're almost like alligators, man.
They almost look like alligators.
Yeah, for people that don't know, it's like, is that fucking alligator?
Yeah.
It's like you hear the song from, what is it, Peter Pan? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. You can almost play that anywhere.
They have them in the lake in Lumpini Park.
Yeah, you see them coming up there. I see guys sleeping next to there, and people start waking up like, hey, there's a fucking monitor lizard next to you.
We used to jog. I remember John and I were jogging down that road, and we saw one cross the road in front of us. and its tail was at one end and its head was at the other end. This thing was huge. And I was going, holy shit, what is that? Just like a monster. And it just crossed from one rice paddy to the other. And we used to stop if you were running and you had to take a leak, you'd pull off and go into the bushes there. No more. I peed in the middle of the road. I wasn't going to step off into the bushes anymore.
This says something though, because like for Thailand, like this kind of everything's trying to kill you, right? It's kind of like the desert in a way.
Kind of worse. Arizona's worse.
Yeah, they can because apparently this is like we're number one for like weather related deaths.
Yeah, because it's hot and everything's sharp.
Yeah, everything will poke into you.
Everything will stick you.
There's fucking snakes and all that shit.
But I thought it was scary in out there in the paddies because it looked like well, no, they came out with those Vietnam War movies like Metal Jacket and stuff.
Full Metal Jacket, yeah.
And it looked like that. That's what it looked like then. And there was nothing there. It was just like no.
And now it's all just completely built up.
Yeah, it's all concrete.
Yeah, well, we used to run. It's just all concrete.
All concrete. I've seen pictures. There's Sasi Papa Gym. It's in there in like the La Prau area. My friend went there in like 2006. And you showed me pictures and we were there in 2010. It's completely different.
Yeah.
And even now, from then to now, there's stuff that was still like sections of like this old jungle gone, all concrete. They might still have some bushes and some huts and stuff like that, but nothing, like I was telling you about this, family in Bangkok, downtown Bangkok, a coconut farm.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, but like you don't see that stuff, but it used to be like that. Like everywhere you'd have, jungle. In Bangkok, you had your strip and you go out just outside and jungle. That's like what you had. You had this whole strip of it. When you guys were not dodging tigers and all that crazy shit, what else would you do? Like what was nightlife like back then?
Sleep.
Yeah.
They would just go to bed early every night.
Yeah, sleep. What like the bedtime was like 9:00?
Well, by dark.
Basically when it's dark, you go to sleep.
But on the weekends, we used to blare.
Yeah, we used to train Saturday, and then Saturday afternoon we'd go into Bangkok and we have a nice dinner. We go out on Saturday night and go back to the camp on Sunday.
Yeah. Do you go hang out with like many trainers or anything like that go with you ever back then?
No, we knew a few folks living in Thailand by then. That's some folks. So
yeah. At that time, was there any like at Fairtex Bangkok, was there like people like anybody from Europe or anything like that there?
Some Japanese guys one time.
Yeah, and there was that one kid that came from Australia.
Yeah,
but yeah. There wasn't a lot of fur in those days. I remember Philip telling us stories about there's an old Gregory Hines and Willem Dafoe, an old Vietnam movie.
Mm-hmm.
They're like military police investigating something. But anyway, they were filming that in Thailand, and Philip told us Willem Dafoe was coming to the camp to train.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Go figure. Willem Dafoe. Go figure, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. But I'm not surprised because like, even now with like the celebrities, you're finding more and more people, like I said, with media nowadays, that's the kind of stuff gets coverage, right? Back then there wasn't anybody there. And with ties in, really, there wasn't like now in the Thai schooling system, they're learning English, right? For like elementary English. Back then, it was like you had to speak Thai. You had to like read Thai. There wasn't shit in English.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that like 6-7 years ago, like where like Bangkok, I know like a lot of SkyTrain signs, they weren't in English. They didn't have English stuff.
Yeah, like, usually they had both.
They had small, but now it's like really accessible. Yeah. Before it was like you had to go find a separate sign or something like that.
Yeah, and then if you go to Phuket, everything's in
Russian.
Yeah. They got menus in Russian everywhere.
Giant sign in menu in Russian, small in Thai.
Yeah, it's like
I don't know what I used to keep a card in my pocket that said in Thai, return this guy to this address, and he's lost.
If you can't find him, he's showing you this card, he's lost.
So I always kept an address of whatever hotel we were staying at, which was usually Kanana Hotel, or the name of the camp, and a phone number at the camp, which was usually like Philip's house or something, or was Apide's house over there in case we got lost. I got lost or something because I had no idea what was going on most of the time I was there.
Yeah.
Absolutely none. John knew what was going on, and other people around me knew what was going on, but I had no idea.
Yeah, shit. Like, I think for a lot of people I can't really picture it. from that era, like I said, he has some pictures and videos and stuff like that, but it's very different now. I mean, don't get me wrong, Mr. Wong had a giant, like 30-foot fucking python, and some of those owls at Fairtex back in like 2010. And I think like 2013, I think he had like the python still, but it's gone now. I remember seeing they were like feeding it like live shit when I was there. And they go, stay away. I'm like, what? Like python. I'm like, oh, I don't care. I'm not going over there. Like, oh, some along like really scared. I'm like, that doesn't bother me. I know you guys. I'm like, it's going to eat him before it eats me. We're good.
Well, he had, back when we were there, I think he still has somewhere these, I can't remember the name of the fish. It's Amazonian fish.
Not koi fish.
No, this thing grows to like
70 feet.
huge size. And he said when he got it, it was like small and just monster fish. And at one point there was some problem with the pond and we needed to drain it and move the fish.
Broke somebody's ribs.
Yeah.
When it was moving.
Well,
Yeah.
it took 3 of them to pick this thing up and move it. And it threw one boxer like into the wall.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And we were asking Philip, like, well, how is it that it doesn't eat all these other fish that, you know, he goes, oh, he grew up with them. So he knows them. But if I put any
She'll eat it.
new participants into the pond, yeah,
He'll eat them.
immediate dinner.
Yeah.
And one afternoon, and I think I still have a picture of it, Boom Kern caught a cobra right outside the front gates of the Fairtex camp.
Did you buy his barbecue?
I didn't, but we did have it for dinner because I was asking, what was that in the bowl? And Boom Kern and Tide probably said, oh, it's the cobra we caught this afternoon. And I didn't understand what I said. And I go, what? Do I lie? And he just goes, oh, same. He goes, yeah. You know,
So there's a fermented sort of fish dish from the called pala.
Yeah, don't eat that if you're a foreigner, by the way.
Well, we ate it until we saw how it got made.
Oh, dude, you guys didn't get sick from it?
No. Well, we pretty much ate everything.
Yeah, but I mean, that shit, like, that had the bacteria in it. Like, I know a lot of, like, foreigners' guts, like, your gut biome can't handle it. You're really sick.
Well, Bob was like, hey, you know, they just threw some fish outside. And I'm like, what?
So, explain what bala is.
It's a fermented fish.
How do they make it?
They put a bunch of fish outside in the sun and let it hang for a
They
while.
put it in the jars and shit,
And
too.
then they ferment it. Yeah.
Yeah.
they put,
And it's raw fish, by the way.
the first time I saw that fish thing, it was in a clump in a bowl when we sat down to eat like all the other dishes. So I took a little chunk of it with my spoon and put it in my rice and I stuck it in my mouth and they all go, no. And I go, like
What?
when Cheech and Chong, you go, oh no, don't take those pills, dude. And I already ate it and then it exploded in my mouth. And I go, oh, this is horrible. And then they showed me they just take sticky rice and just touch it, you know.
Yeah, they don't eat like the whole thing. It's just for
I ate a
flavor.
whole chunk
They
of
put
it.
it in something.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I went to this place in Chiang Mai. That's the first time I had it. I'm like, I'll try it. So I'm like, I walked past it, like, you can smell it. Kind of smells like feet. And, you know, like someone's shoe that had been sitting out for a while. That's what it kind of smelled like. I tried a little bit with like the sticky rice. And I was like, I'm good. I had a girlfriend with me at the time. She said, oh, I'll eat more of it. She got so sick. Oh, you're so sick. Yeah. She's like, I don't know why I'm sick. I'm like, because you ate a bunch of fucking of that. Bala. Your stomach can't handle it, you know? Even if you think it's good, your stomach's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they always seem to want to add something to somtam to make it more dangerous.
Yeah, this place, I think it's called some type of udon. It's like a very famous, like, papaya salad restaurant that's up there. It was like packed. They had like 30 different variations.
Because they
of
have these
salad.
little fermented crabs. And
Yeah.
some,
I like that.
somtam.
Yeah, it's good because it tastes good with it, with the salty,
salty
crunchy and
Yeah.
stuff in there. And the salted egg also. I really like that when I was eating it. That was like, so I was vegan for like 5 years. And people would always give me shit, oh, you don't eat this. I'm like, man, no, I used to eat like everything. Just all like when I was there, I was just, my friends go, you want to try that? And like, do you want to know what it is? No, I'll try it though. I think the only thing I didn't really like was like tripe, like
Yeah.
the stomach, because it's like it almost has like a fur in it. And I just didn't sit well in my stomach.
Yeah.
But you're a menudo guy.
Yeah,
so you're
I'm
okay.
like
with
menudo.
it.
Menudo is different though than what I had for the tripe, like the way it's
And
prepared.
menudo is right.
Yeah, I know, but it's cooked differently than like the soup that they had it in. This was more like boiled, and it wasn't like cleaned up all the way. So it's kind of like you get feel little hairs of it.
That just doesn't sound right.
No, it was pretty gross. For when it comes into food and stuff like that, man, it's like a foodie's paradise in Thailand.
Yeah, even more so now. It's just exploded, the food scene in Bangkok.
Yeah, they shut down, it was at Ratchet Stadium. When's the last time you went by there?
Oh, I haven't been to Radhavan in years.
Do you remember they had the big tree outside?
Yeah.
It's gone.
Oh, that's a tragedy.
It's gone. And they put a giant spirit house in this place because obviously they knew it was going to be bad luck cutting this tree down, right? So they put this nice platform, giant spirit house. All those vendors that are there, gone. There's no more outdoor vendors there. I was like totally shocked at because it just happened in like a year.
There's been a big debate about that whole food street vendor thing.
I know they're
trying to clean it up, and then they were saying, "Oh, well, we'll put them only in certain locations."
Places, yeah, because it's like in Justy Jock Market, like they still have it, obviously, like these big markets. But it used to be outside of Justy Jock, out in the street. It's not there.
Well, Seagull at nighttime, there used to be vendors all over the place, and it seems like they're trying to
almost regulate a little bit, but at the same time, that was one of the things that made it like very special.
Absolutely.
Right. I haven't been down Khaosan Road, but I went down there like twice. This is not really my scene. But I think that's still like very similar as well. And they've been kind of condensed into these night markets and stuff now. So there's one I went to, I think it's near the one, which is very nice. And then there's also like
Diablo 5, the training market.
Yes. Yeah. So like they're getting more condensed into those areas and you can't go outside of it, from my understanding. I appreciate when they're doing the street food. I also get it because I know it's like, I would always stay away from all that stuff because I'd be like, how do they clean the dishes they're feeding you on? It's like you go see the black water, they're dumping it in.
Well, like down in Ceylon, there used to be people pushing carts around with all kinds of things too. Mm. One of the ones you'd see a lot were the fried bug ladies. You remember the fried bug ladies? They got 19 different varieties of fried bugs.
Yeah. And bugs, like, I always bring people to a place, like when I bring them over to Thailand to try it. Because everybody's like, oh, can we try it? I'm like, yeah, sure. But it doesn't taste like much, but go for it.
So just
tastes like grass. Yeah. Like,
or dust.
Yeah. And it with like a little bit of teriyaki or stuff like that. They're spicy.
I think one of the best things about Thailand back in the 80s as compared to now is when you went there, it was a total disconnect from what you're doing
technology,
in the States.
All that shit.
Well, you were far away. If you needed to call somebody in the States, it was a long distance phone call. It was very expensive.
Yeah.
A fax. So you were totally disconnected from here. Now when you go there, I mean, I have students that go there, friends that go there. I still talk. I talk to you on the phone.
Yeah, you text me. Hey, what's up?
It's like you're 2 minutes away. It's the same as when you're down the block as you're thousands of miles away. So there is not that disconnect, You
don't feel as like isolated.
You're totally in a different planet, when you went to Thailand back in the 80s.
So tell me a little bit about your fighting history, because you were talking about fighting in the U.S. on Bob's promotion back in Philadelphia, right?
Yeah.
So
that was after we had fought in Thailand.
That's he fought in Thailand.
Fought in Sudbury.
So yeah, Sudbury, Thailand, Sudbury Stadium and stuff, which is still there. There's still got fights going on.
Well, you should mention the Sudbury fight because you still have a scar on your shin from that, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, you busted your shin open?
Yeah, I busted my shin open, and after the fight, they threw me on a table literally right beside the ring, stitching it up. And I kept trying to sit up to look at it. And he kept slamming me down on the table because he's like, you don't want to see this.
Yeah. Every time they stuck the needle in, because the skin was so tough, it pulled the thing open and you could see his whole shin bone. I go, oh. And he's going, let me see how you want to sit down. And I still had stitches in my eye from my fight. So we're a mess.
Yeah, that's like Sudbury is very much country for anybody that doesn't know.
Yeah.
Very much countryside.
And then I got back, I was working in Singapore at the time for a big U.S. corporate. And when I got back, I went to see the company doctor, to get the stitches out. And an Indian guy, and he was like, oh, this is very bad.
Yeah, all fine.
All infected and
we went scuba diving with our stitches.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we just got some of that liquid plastic stuff.
So yeah, put it over it.
Painted it over that when scuba diving.
Shit. Hey, you went in Thailand, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, to make it work.
We had planned a holiday. We weren't going to give up the holiday just because we got some cuts.
So going back into fighting in the U.S., you were just talking about the story of like you were some people from the Jet Center, Bay Jets.
Well, so my best friend of many, many years is a guy named Roger Yuan, who's a really accomplished martial arts actor. And he trained a lot at the Jet Center. And so I had I was getting ready for Bob's fight. I went trained a bit in Thailand, came back to the States, stopped through LA, was hanging out with Roger. We went up to the Jet Center, and I had a fight like a couple days later, right? And these guys stuck me in the ring with P.D. Cunningham.
He Cunningham.
Who knocked me around pretty good.
Like I was saying, he is my friend Sean Yakubian, who was at the Jet Center as a kid and stuff like that. He knew Peter Cunningham and all of them. He was just at our event that we had last weekend too.
Right.
With some fighters. So he's still around, man. That's cool to like hear this side too.
Yeah, so I got my legs beat up pretty well playing with Pete, and then just a few days later, I'm in Philly for a fight. So I was like trying to like massage and arnica and everything, get myself feeling good for the fight.
Did you guys bring back like Nam and Muay back then?
Yeah.
Brought back everything. We get our hands.
People were always asking us to smuggle it in, so we were always carrying Nam and Muay with us when we came.
Yeah, it's funny to see like the accessibility of that now and everything too. It's crazy. So you were telling me you were supposed to fight 144 pounds on Bob's promotion over there?
Yep. And the guy, was it Tony Moore? Was that the guy's name?
Tony Moore from England.
Yeah. Manchester. So he had some really accomplished fighters.
Yeah.
And the guy that I was supposed to fight for whatever reason backed out. I can't remember why. And they said, oh, we got another guy he can probably fight like 156. And foolishly I said, sure. Okay. And it was just, we got in clinch. I know we got in clinch in the first round, and I just couldn't budge the guy. I couldn't move him at all. And he was elbowing me on top of the head because he was just bigger than me.
Big guy, yeah. So you were just saying too, that guy just before that fight fought.
He had evidently previously fought Ron Karmel.
Yeah. So rest in peace.
I was out of my depth.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right. Ron Karmel is like, top of the top.
And then the crazy thing was, somebody had a video of this fight. So fast forward quite a few years, I joined JP Morgan. I'm working in a team covering Latin America, and one of my colleagues comes in one morning and says, I saw you fighting Muay Thai. And I'm not, all of this is like,
He's accusing you.
So I'm like, nah, was he? I'm like, nah, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. He's like, it was you. They said this guy was a Wharton grad. And they said, it was like on ESPN 8 or something.
Yeah.
I was on the Ocho. I don't know.
Yeah, somewhere down there.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. Thank you for coming in today, taking the time to share a little bit of your story, talking about your time with Bob and kind of filling the gaps. Because we've talked about it here on the show before.
Sure.
A lot of that groundwork you guys did kind of fostered into what Muay Thai is today here in the U.S. Right? So like without people doing what you guys did, we wouldn't have had access to it. So thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Bob, thanks for coming in today, man.
Always a pleasure.
Teep Studios. All right, guys. Until next time, remember to like, follow, subscribe. Everything's going to be down in the show notes for any references. I'll do my best to get all the content put together for this. If you're listening, remember to leave a review. Check out Golden Era Muay Thai in Scottsdale, Arizona. Golden, with your Instagram, Golden Era _ Muay Thai. For your gym. I'll find it. It'll be down in the show notes, guys. We'll see you next time.
Swadee Cup.
Swadee Cup.
Bye.